Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ryan. Welcome to episode 18 of the Gamers podcast. I think. Yeah, 18. I'm assuming so. I could be wrong. But 18. And today I have James Dolph with me.
Hi.
Yeah, we can't see each other, but you can see us.
Yep, pretty much. 18's a lot. I didn't know we had so many.
Yep.
Oh, cool stuff.
Had so many what?
Podcasts.
Oh, yeah, I know. Just no one watches them.
Oh, well. I
Yeah.
feel like someone will.
Yeah, someone will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
know.
should put them up on iTunes.
Maybe we should. That'd be funny.
Yeah.
So James, Ronda Rousey, there's a rumor that Ronda Rousey got signed by the WWE. How do you feel about that?
I totally know who that person is. First of all, I just want to make that clear, and it's great. I gotta go with great.
Okay. I think it's weird because she was an MMA fighter, and now she's now she's going into WWE. Like what?
Cool.
Why?
I don't know why. Why would you step down
What?
Why would you step down from something real to something fake?
Because she lost her last two fights and her ego got cracked really hard.
And she thinks that they're gonna script her some good fights.
Yeah, I
Okay,
guess. Or they offered her a shit ton of money.
it's probably that one for sure.
Yeah, because of her star power.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, but the whole
Oh yeah,
MMA
yeah,
community,
yeah.
the whole MMA community was just like, oh yeah, I think she's got a thing with WWE now. I'm like, what?
And all the WWE community was like, "What no?"
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was
Well,
interesting.
it's too bad that MMA community is not gonna watch a single fight of hers.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was just honestly, dude, that was more of a prank than anything because I knew you wouldn't know anything about it.
Uh,
Because you're just like, because before this, you're just like, what do you want to talk about? And then, like, what's the first thing you want to talk about specifically? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. Because I was thinking about just
and
coming
yet,
out.
and yet you knew.
Yeah. So what's up, man? So we haven't sat down and talked for about 3 days. How you been in these 3 days?
Has it really been a whole 3 days? I feel
Might
like it
have
was
been.
shorter than that.
Maybe. You can always check
Okay.
the Discord logs.
Good.
Yeah. Actually, no, it was yesterday.
I think it was yesterday.
Because there was all that drama, and then there was, like, some other shit, and Ty's playing Dark Souls 3 right now, so that fits right in.
Is he really?
Yes, he is.
On what?
PC.
On PC?
Yeah.
Hi, if you need help.
Ty, you need help.
You know, hit me up if you need help.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. What are you eating right now? I gotta ask.
I have a strepsil because I am sick and I have a very sore throat.
Same.
So
My
I have this. Oh,
Sorry.
I don't know what it's called. Sipacol.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
I got some
yeah.
I got some extra strength ones, and they actually make my throat and my tongue feel numb.
No, true. True that. I kind of wish I had something like that, but I don't. Because no one's gotten sick in my house in bloody forever.
Well, hashtag no sponsor. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, so James,
Yes, Ryan.
about almost a year ago,
Mm-hmm.
you had a liver transplant.
Mm-hmm.
What's the update on your health? How are you doing?
Still good. Supposed to be working out
Yeah.
and
S-
being healthy.
Supposed to be.
Supposed to be.
You're not doing it?
Well, no, I didn't do it for the first few days, and then I got sick, and
No, you don't want to do it anymore.
well, yeah, totally can't hear you.
Wait, what?
No, nothing.
She say, don't tell him about your sickness.
No, she said totally blame it on the sickness.
Yeah, totes.
Yeah. So currently it's the sickness, but then after that it's gonna be back to laziness.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
That's really
but
positive.
yeah, so I'm supposed to be getting back into shape because, you know, 11 months off, and then it's like, all right, well, you have 1 month to get back into shape you were, and then you can go out and find big boy work.
Yay.
Yeah.
Does that mean that Spencer's gonna have to work less?
If she wants to. Probably not. She's manager, so
True.
I don't think working less is going to be an option.
Wow, you guys are gonna be roping in a bunch of dough.
I hope so. God, I hope
Probably.
so.
And
Yeah.
especially the way she fucking works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's fantascinating, James. That's really good news.
Oh, thanks. So
Yeah.
I
I don't
hope
know. It's
it.
just a lot of people actually don't understand exactly what went on with you. All they know is that you got a liver transplant.
Oh, that's all they need to know.
Yeah. I remember you explained it on the one that got deleted.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Because I think that was closer to when it was new.
Yeah, it was rather new. I think it was like 4 months in, maybe 5, somewhere
I
around
don't.
there.
I don't think it was that old.
Oh,
I think it was newer than that.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
It was back in your Twitch days, though.
Yeah, so it might have been around month 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And now I'm at month 11.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah.
So I was checking the wiki page, and apparently it says that you might be able to create a demon spawn mutated fetus. Is this true?
Yes. It's gonna involve a goat sacrifice, though. Do I have a wiki page?
No, but I remember you telling me, and I hope we can talk about this. But so if I gotta put a big beep here, just tell me. But I remember you telling me that actually, due to the medication that you're on, your baby might be more likely to be deformed if you were to have one.
Yes, because I'm on crazy meds, and that messes up everything.
Yeah.
So especially when I first got out, my body fluids were toxin.
Really. So
Yeah,
so
you
like
had just
your sweat was fucking like toxic.
I don't know about sweat. Maybe when it was new, it was.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe brand new.
because I had to have I had two tubes just coming out of the side of my stomach, and it would go into this little like puck thing that would slowly fill up with liquids,
Yeah.
and it constantly needed to be changed and drained. But you need to wear a face mask and then a face shield, and then you had to wear like these bright yellow disposable like toxic symbol out. You had to wear a whole toxic symbol outfit.
Just put on a hazmat suit, you're fine.
Yeah, it was pretty much a cheap version of a hazmat suit.
Yeah.
Just to get that thing changed.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, that man.
And
That's...
it only like exploded a couple times. It didn't explode off every time or anything.
Just a couple, no big deal.
Yeah, just a couple.
No big deal. Was your wife doing this, or was the nurses doing this?
The nurse had to do it.
Okay, good. I would be like, poor goddamn Spencer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You technically were supposed to wear one of those makeshift hazmat suits just to come visit me.
Really?
Yeah, but no one did.
No one cared.
No one cared. The nurses didn't do it. The nurses didn't enforce it.
Oh, they're just like, yeah, he's not like that toxic.
Mm-hmm.
He's toxic, but not that toxic.
But I'm not going to spit all over you, kind of thing, right?
Hey, please don't.
Well, I could because we're not in the same room, so I could just look at the camera and just. It'll be fine.
Okay, so we don't have to talk about your body stuff. So let's talk about the YouTube game. You do it, I do it. So like you recently are cheating on me with your Dark Souls crew.
Yep.
So how's that? How's that going?
It's going well so far. So I did a lore through on Dark Souls 3.
Yep.
Because I really like all the Souls games, and I knew the Dark Souls one the best because it was the newest one. And after I did the lore through, I started trying to help others so I could do New Game Plus, and I could and I could farm off some items so I could finish some of the Covenant quests I needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the and so one of the ones I had to do is I had to help people.
Right.
So like I would go on to like forums and whatever, and I'd try and ask people for help, and like 3 days later they might respond.
Oh yeah.
So instead, I just kind of hunted YouTube gaming and I hunted Twitch, and I helped some people that were actually live because
Yeah.
it was ridiculously faster.
Oh, I had to be.
Yeah, and um, and I kind of looked for them like the same way you would look for someone if you're going to do
A
an
raid.
end of stream raid.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I was kind of looking for. It's like, oh, I like this guy doesn't have a camera. Next, this guy's not speaking, but he clearly has a mic because you can hear him clear his throat. Next, this guy's clearly on PlayStation, so I can't help him regardless.
Yeah.
Next, right, and so on and so forth. But there's actually very few people who play that live who actually have a camera and a mic. And I found I found a few guys that did it, and I really liked this one guy because he was very interactive and he was very positive and upbeat and everything. I was like, this guy's a great guy. This is one of those guys you have to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
So I offered him the help, and he's like, oh my God, yes, please. So
Yep.
I offered him the help, and he ended up being a good guy, and he ended up in a little bit of communication we had back and forth because we weren't voice chatting with each other at the time.
Yep.
It kind of bounced off of each other really well, and he was very interested in the lore, and he proposed doing a playthrough of one or two, and then two went on crazy good sale, and I was like, "Yep, we can do it."
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah,
Yeah, you
and
kind of found your own crew.
kind of.
Kind of.
I
I
like
mean,
because I really like the collabs we do together, right?
yeah.
I like doing the videos in general, but I really enjoyed the collabs. So it's kind of fun that there's a second person I can collab with because I had a lot of fun because I did a Dark Souls video and then we played Depth together and
Yeah.
Rocket League, and then when I did another, and then the next day I did a Dark Souls video, and it's like that was actually a lot of fun those 3 days in a row.
Yep. Variety. Yeah, it's always
Mhm.
good. Actually, yeah, I'm kind of hoping to kind of get to that point. That's kind of why I want to get Chelsea on board with her YouTube thing. But apparently, so there's an update on that. I've been bitching about that a lot in my live streams, and
I don't know if she's gonna do one.
well, she says she wants to,
Yeah,
and
but I don't know if she will. We both have her on Snapchat. She seems pretty busy all day.
not on the weekends. I said I kind of just
True.
I proposed, like I was just like, she was just like, it's something I want to try, but
Hmm.
right now I have to plan a wedding for my mother. This is Chelsea's words, and then she was just kind of like, probably after the wedding, which is going to be in October, she'll be able to do it. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So then we looked at, I checked out the setup that she has at her dad's place, which is a crazy good fucking computer.
Hmm.
It's exactly what you need to make YouTube videos and to edit and stuff. But if she's only doing one video a week, she said like, yeah, like I'll just get you to like edit my stuff, and I'm like, okay.
Hmm. So
So
because it's only one video a week, it has to have crazy good effects.
like, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's all that kind of shit, and yeah, and she wants to do some sim stuff. But not only can she do sim stuff, but she can. I said like, I'll give you my old capture card, or no, I'll lend it to you. I'm not giving it to her,
Hmm.
and I'll just say, why don't you can try and like stream on the PS4 or something like that, you know?
Hmm. Or something easy to stream on.
Yeah, something easy to stream on, or like if you have like a really good game, like a really good game you want to do on PC, then you can do that very easily. So,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, especially now that I know about borderless mode. Oh my god.
I can't believe you didn't know what that meant. It surprised me. And I was like, oh, I hate, because I was playing a Five Nights at Freddy's fan game. I don't know which one. And I was like, oh, I hate it because it's borderless mode and it's Five Nights at Freddy's standard. And I keep clicking off, and you're just like, is that what borderless mode is? And I was like, yes, it doesn't have a border. You're not gonna stop at the end.
I'm like, I'm like, really? So that means I can drag my mouse to my other monitor? You're like,
You sure
yes.
can. That's
Yeah.
the exact problem I'm having with Five Nights games.
Why don't you unplug one of your monitors though?
Because I want to do that.
Yeah,
I want to have all my information on one monitor, and I want to have the game on the other.
true. Fuck me. Yeah, that was so sad, dude. Like honestly, man, like if you watch my PC live streams, I gotta fucking like I gotta like tab out of the game freezes, and then I gotta like do something, and then I gotta tab back in, then OBS has to catch it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, does your OBS stop capturing it when you tab out? 'Cause
Well,
mine
like
does it.
like the sounds will stop. Like when you tab out,
Yeah,
like tab out,
true.
tab out. It's for most games, but for like a game like Depth, even if I do tab out of that, it would still be like going. Like
Yeah.
for some
Well,
reason.
yeah, 'cause that'd be multiplayer. It would need to keep going.
Yeah, so well no, like even just at the menu, right? Like it doesn't freeze.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. And yeah, but perfect example is Minecraft actually. When I would stream or record Minecraft and I would have to do something on OBS on the second monitor or whatever, wherever it is. Yeah, I would just tab out of the game would freeze out like the pause screen or whatever.
Hmm.
And you could tell, right? Because the torches have an animation, especially in the texture pack that I use. They have this
Oh, and they would just freeze.
yeah, it just freezes. So like you can just tell like what I'm doing. So, yeah. And it kind of
I
makes it
understand.
yeah, it kind of makes it shitty for the audience, but I mean a pause screen is shitty for the audience anyways.
Yeah,
So, like especially when I'm playing zombies. It's
yeah.
like it's like zombies is go 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 go. It's not like a game like Borderlands where you can just stop where you are and then just do something.
Take a quick five.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's very you stop, you die.
Yeah, exactly, right. Yeah,
Mm,
I'm actually going to stream some zombies after this podcast or a little bit later, but we'll see.
cool.
Yeah, that's really too bad that World at War and all my zombie games are being assholes to me and I can't play with friends anymore.
Hey, did you download the beta for World War II?
No, that's you can only do it on it's like this thing pre-order. That's what it is. You get a code if you pre-order it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm going to get it. Like I'm going to get it when it comes out and I'm going to jump on it immediately, but I just won't have any of the cool seasons pass stuff, and I really hope it doesn't come with the zombies map because if it does, I'm gonna be pissed.
If it comes like with its own zombies map, like a unique one.
For example, like with Black Ops 3 when that first came out, you couldn't play the Giant unless you buy like the season pass.
Oh,
And then I think in the other one in Black Ops 2, that's the better example. You couldn't play Nuketown Zombies unless you pre-ordered the game. But then they released it for like $7, like after the whole DLC cycle was done.
you cut out for me.
I was just saying, like when the whole DLC.
Oh, there you're back.
Hello. Okay, we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Fucking Skype. God damn it.
I know, right? Isn't it awesome? Isn't
Yeah.
it the best?
Yeah, I know. Fuck me, man. The way we're recording this, we'd have just done it on Discord, but we're committed.
Yep.
Yeah. Damn, I feel stupid.
It's not like we have the power of editing.
Yeah, we do. Well, I mean,
Just
there's no way I can take away. Well, actually, you've never cut out on my end, so never mind.
true.
Yeah, never mind. I got this.
Okay, cool.
Cool. So, anyways, I was just saying that like on Black Ops 2, Nuketown Zombies came with the pre-order, but then
Later you could buy it.
yeah, but then at the end of the whole DLC cycle, you could buy it.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's like, but then by
Which
the end of that, it's not a big game anymore, and then like no one's gonna want to watch it. So
was Nuketown the one where you could be in the house and in that guy's backyard in that cul-de-sac?
yep,
Ah,
it's like the most famous multiplayer map in all of Call of Duty.
ah. I have a request for your next live stream.
What is it?
Nuketown.
Yeah. You want to play Nuketown Zombies?
I want to see you play it.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I was actually planning on doing some Black Ops 2 stuff today, anyways.
Perfect. I want to see Nuketown.
All right, cool.
There you go.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. That worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forewarning, I'm probably not going to watch it.
What?
Probably not gonna watch it live.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. Well, it'll
Yeah.
be the first map I play. First or second one, for sure. Yeah.
Nice.
Because I was just kind of thinking about maybe doing just just a live stream, or just kind of hanging out on Black Ops 2. Maybe just trying to beat my records or something. Because my records are absolute shit on Black Ops 2.
Huh. So no challenge then.
No, that was bad last time, man. I just picked the wrong challenge for the wrong map. That's what the problem was.
Yeah.
Like, it was a good idea in practice because the map that I was doing it on has the wonder weapon is a shotgun.
Oh, nice.
It's a shotgun, right? So it counts for the challenge.
Hmm.
Excuse me, I have a sore throat.
You had some trouble getting there.
Yeah. Yeah, so then it's just like, because like there's a guaranteed way to get that wonder weapon, but doing it is a process, like a long process, and then there's only two other shotguns you can use on that map that are absolute garbage. So it's like, oh.
So it was a process getting there.
It was a big process. And it's kind of a cheat if you kind of go, okay, on like round 15, I'm going to start the challenge. It's like, no. Like, use the shotgun for the whole damn game.
Yeah.
I mean, I was kind of thinking about doing some challenges. Maybe I'll take some requests from the audience or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, like, just so I'm not just playing some boring old zombies, like, all the time, like I usually do.
Oh, you want to take challenge requests or game requests?
Either.
Oh, okay.
It's more like challenge requests, because I'm leaning back into getting into zombies again.
Mm-hmm.
Because I realized that I am a pretty good zombies YouTuber, so yeah. Because
That's good. Yeah, you were number one a couple times.
Yeah, I was. Once all the big guys would go to bed, like I would hit number one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would. It's just because of my work schedule, though.
Yeah.
That's what it was. But now I know that's when you gotta stream to be number one.
Yep.
Yeah, man. So
YouTube doesn't stop.
Oh yeah, so can we talk about your rebranding?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yes. So you wanna switch up your content just a little bit, right?
Yeah, I do because I'm enjoying the Dark Souls, and I really want to do that all three games, and that's obviously not a horror, and um, I don't know. I think that's like the only like non-horror that I've really played. But there's still a lot of other horror games I want to do, but it's just I kind of just don't want to do them back to back because I feel like I'm getting numb to them, right?
Right.
So I want to do the Dishonored trilogy. I think that would be cool. Maybe restart Doom because I never finished Doom.
Yeah. Are you gonna stream Doom? Or like
Yeah,
do it on camera?
I'd probably stream it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of other games like I wanna do it at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cause there's so many horrors I still want to do and go through.
Yeah.
But like, cause I wanted, cause I did that really long stream where I played I just kind of quickly went through all the Five Nights games.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that was a good one. I like that stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd actually like to do all the Five Nights games.
Really?
Yeah. I've got the like, and I just have other games I want to try. Like, I have a lot of Star Wars games too. I want to play Soma. I want to play South Park: The Stick of Truth. I know Soma's a horror game. I want to do Super Meat Boy. I got a couple of ones like the Talos Principle.
Oh, I have a request for you. Sorry to interrupt you, man, but
That's okay.
I have a request for you. You have Star Wars, Jedi Outcast, Jedi Knight 2. That's it. You have it. I know you do.
Star Wars, Jedi Knights 2, Jedi Outcast. Yes, I have that.
Yeah, that one. Can you, if you do decide on streaming it at any point, can you complete the first level?
Yeah, I would probably play them.
Okay, cool.
I know.
and like capture it.
Because I have Battlefront 2, which is supposed to be a really good one.
Yeah.
I have 4 Jedi Knight games. I have Knights of the Old Republic, which is supposed to be good. I think I have Knights of the Old Republic 2. Yeah, I have Knights of the Old Republic 2.
Yeah.
And I got a few others that don't look great, but I also have both the Force Unleashed games.
The second one, I didn't get too much into it, but the second one's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the opening, the first levels were great. So.
Yeah, and I've got VVVVVVV I want to kind of play.
VV
Um,
what?
it's just like a precision platformer game, and it's literally 5 Vs for a title.
Oh, okay.
Um, and I just like to do more things, right?
Right.
But at the same time, I still have my library is still hugely horror filled.
Well, chlorophyll, more like borophyll. So,
Horror filled.
nah. I know.
Yeah.
Spark to think.
So,
But yeah, man. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do for a while. I think I'm still gonna play other games, but kind of keep it on the rare side when I do, because like I just think I'm a zombies YouTuber, man, just at heart.
yeah. And
Yeah,
I feel the same. I feel like I'm a horror YouTuber at heart, but I just have a lot of other games I kind of want to play through.
yeah.
So, on games that I don't have yet that I would like to play through, and I'd really like to figure out how to stream a DS um to the
It's
computer without having to hack a DS.
you don't. I think you download a program
No, you.
for the computer.
Oh, do you? Because everything
Yeah.
I said, it's like, oh no, you have to hack it. You have to send your DS in somewhere and completely void its warranty, and you're able to get a way to actually put it onto the computer.
Well, oh my God, you're gonna love this story. I'm not sure if you told me about it, but I definitely saw it on a video. Did you
Hmm.
ever hear about the guy who cheated at Pokemon Go?
No, but
He
it's
figured out how to do it lazy.
I know a lot of people who do that. They'd put it on the computer and they'd like location spam it here and there.
Well, didn't they cover that up like so then you couldn't do that?
They can't. They tried, but it's pretty hard to still do. And just like anything, as soon as someone patches it, they start working on a new version that's compatible with the patch.
Yeah. Well, actually, but just listen to this story because it has nothing to do with like that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Like this guy, he got it. He got this program on his laptop or a
Hmm.
tablet of some kind, and he was able to use Pokemon Go with his like keyboard and mouse.
Hmm.
And he attached his phone to a fucking drone, and he would fly. He would fly in locations and capture Pokemon that way.
Oh, that's hilarious,
It
actually.
it is hilarious. He just flew it out of his apartment window. It was so illegal.
Yeah,
So, but it was hilarious. It was,
that's that's hilarious. I love it.
I know. It gave me a good laugh when I saw him do that. It was like in the top 10 or something. Like I don't think it was like I can't remember what it was. I think like stupid ways to do things or I think it was,
Probably that sounds about right.
or it was just like stupid ways people use a drone. Yeah, that's what it was.
Uh
Stupid and illegal.
so some guy was using his to play Pokemon Go.
Yeah. Oh fuck, that hurt. Oh, thank you.
I
Oh,
remember seeing a
Flint.
video where a new iPhone came out and the camera was supposed to be ridiculously good.
Yeah.
So they got this clear sheet of plexiglass and they
Okay.
put little ledges on it, and then they attached it to a drone, and they just flew it up as high as they could, and just went to see how high definition they stayed as it flew up.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Why would it lose its quality if it goes any higher?
well, because you could, if you zoom in, right, it would start losing quality when you zoomed in.
Oh,
Yeah, so I want
gotcha.
to see how high definition it was, like to like to what definition was it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, I remember seeing this one drone video. It was absolutely terrible because I got into drones for a long time there.
you did,
I
and you
did.
kept crashing them or something, or
Shut
losing
up.
them.
I didn't I only crashed my expensive one twice, okay? We're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that one's the actual good one that I'm going to be using for actual productions and stuff.
Okay.
Wink wink. So anyways,
Spoilers on what is coming up.
wink wink. Sorry.
Teasers.
Wink wink. Okay, so anyways, um he fucking there's this video of this guy who flew way too fucking close to a plane. Like
Yeah.
you're supposed to fly those things like 5 miles away from an airport,
Yeah.
and he flew his like at a plane
Oh
as
wow.
it came off the runway and it was ascending, and he got like a shot, like a camera shot. It was pretty cool, but it was extremely stupid and dangerous.
And super illegal.
It's super illegal, absolutely. Like the FAA could like fuck him in the butt with a fine, like easily. He could
Oh yeah.
probably even do some jail time too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And he even filmed himself flying the drone, so now everyone knows what he looks like.
Yeah. He's super easy to catch.
Yeah, so like he was lounging like at like a poolside at a resort or something,
Mm-hmm.
and he just decided to fly his drone and go, see an airport, like go near an airport. It's like, what the fuck are you doing, man?
Mm-hmm.
I was terrible. Like, why would you do that?
Yes, don't know with some people, you know? You don't know, you know?
yeah, you never know. And then he just, yeah, it was rough, man.
Mm-hmm.
He, yeah, that's what he did. And it was really cool though. Like, but you could see people in the plane too. Like you could see the shadows of their heads.
Oh wow.
Yeah, man. Like he was close. Like he was really close.
No kidding.
Yeah, it was just stupid. A lot of people do stupid things in drones. And then some idiot fucking flew a drone in the fucking White House yard,
Really?
and it got shot down. Yeah, by
Of course it would. I'd be surprised if it didn't.
by Secret Service.
Yeah.
And then yeah, the guy never got it back either. I think he even got a fine for like $100 or something like that.
Oh yeah. I bet someone thinking that it was I I don't know what like how would he not think that that he wouldn't have gotten huge repercussions that way.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's kind of the same thing that happened with that one guy stalking those YouTubers. He goes up behind he's going behind all these high profile celebrities' houses who they live next to, and then he finally gets behind their house, and then one of the roommates fucking comes out and is like, "What are you doing?" And then like some security guards from like a rapper's house fucking came and beat the shit out of him.
Of course.
Because he was trespassing, and they didn't even face repercussions for beating the shit out of him because it was on private property.
Of course.
Yeah, and it's America.
Yeah. I think even here, if it's in self-defense, there's a lot you can get away with.
My friend actually got away with it. He stabbed a guy.
Yeah.
Because he got jumped.
Yeah.
So
that just becomes self-defense.
yeah, he told me the story. That was a big rumor around our town for a while, and then I became friends with him, and I go, yeah, like, can I ask you about that? Like kind of just like, how did that happen? How did that go down?
Mm-hmm.
And then he just kind of said, like, he was at a party, got broken up by the cops, and then he was on his longboard and to his buddy's house to grab his longboard for him, and these guys were calling him names, and they came up behind him and hit him in the back of the head and just beating the shit out of him. And well, I think before that, like he said, don't fuck with me, and then he pulled out his blade, and then they beat him up, and then he kind of blindly just lunged his blade forward, and stabbed a guy, and the guy's fine and everything. I don't think he stabbed too deep or anything like that, but he definitely stabbed him.
Yeah.
And because he completely got away with it too, because I don't think he ever went to jail. Possibly his parents had to pay some form of a fine, so he didn't completely get away with it, but he didn't go to jail because it was self-defense.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I never want to see that happen in real life.
Yeah, same, man. Like,
Yeah.
and yeah. Actually, it's amazing how like people still want to do drugs at like when like what things like acid can make you do.
Yeah, I know. They're just like, oh, that sounds like a good idea. And it's like, really? You really think so? I feel like you're really wrong on that.
Yeah, and I actually had a friend who did acid. I had two friends who did acid together, and my one friend, he he climbs our town mountain, and He says he saw a dragon from Skyrim and he wanted to go fly it, ride on it. And he clearly didn't. So then my other buddy, who's more of an adult and more experienced with it, was actually a little bit more composed than my other friend was.
Mm-hmm.
And he had to bolt after him to stop him from jumping off the mountain. And just basically like tackle him to the ground and go like, "There's nothing there. Like, what are you doing?"
Good Lord.
Yeah, man.
People and their drugs.
I know. And then people wonder why I don't do drugs. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't drink either because I used to be with the band,
Yeah.
and we would play in bars, and you just watch people all night just barely function and just constantly make bad decisions, and it's like you're gonna feel great that you spent $200 and you're gonna feel great in the morning when you feel like crap and you feel just $200 more poor and you've nothing but bad decisions all night.
Yeah. Yes. Oh yeah. How? Oh yeah. La, 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 la. So, audio engineer. You worked with a band.
I did. I worked with some guys who were local here. We had so I had me and my brother had a really good friends growing up who were just down the road from us actually.
Oh, that close, eh?
Yeah, they were really good friends and we knew them. Like I remember on the first day of kindergarten, I was really upset and everything because my friend was a year behind me, so he wasn't going to be in kindergarten with me,
Oh, right.
right? So I remember that being really upsetting. So and eventually their parents split up, and
Mm-hmm.
one parent moved down to Kelowna, and another parent moved down to Vancouver.
Yeah.
And they were kind of between back and forth, and they eventually ended up going with their dad, who moved to Vancouver.
Oh, okay.
And then in Vancouver, the dad got remarried, and and now the little brother from the guy who was at the moment one of my best friends,
Uh-huh.
pre-kindergarten,
Yeah. Are
and I
you
guess in
cool with
kindergarten.
saying names just so it's easier to tell?
Um, I'll get there.
Okay.
So the younger brother was named Tanner,
Yeah.
and he had a new step family. He had a new stepsister and stepbrother, and his stepbrother's name was Cam.
Yeah.
And Cam had a grandpa who was big into the music business. So as soon as Cam could walk, he was playing guitar.
Yeah.
And and so when he joined the family, he was like, "That's really cool. I want to do an instrument too." So he started taking bass and started taking vocal lessons.
Nice.
And then the two of them got half decent, and they wanted to start a band. So the grandpa and the parents um, they pulled some money together and they bought them a massively huge sound system.
Really?
Yeah, they did.
Is that how they recorded their original work from like back in the day? It
No,
wasn't anything that crazy?
no, it wasn't anything that crazy because it was all for live, right?
Right. Oh, okay. Oh, so that kind of equipment.
Yeah, it was all the equipment for live.
Okay.
And then they got a couple friends and they started a band and they started playing and they started practicing and everything. And the grandpa would come down and he would do the live audio from them. He would come over from Vancouver over to um, Vancouver Island because eventually their dad got transferred to Vancouver Island.
Yeah.
So so I don't know, they only lived a couple years in Vancouver, and then
Uh-huh.
they lived in Vancouver Island since then.
Yeah.
So, and surprisingly, they moved down the street from where we moved,
Right.
which was really weird and convenient and awesome.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so they moved down, just down the street again, walking distance from where we were, when we were up in North BC.
Right.
And they were, and the little brother could play guitar like that, like it was nobody's business. And Cam, he was the one playing guitar, and then Tanner was learning bass, and he was singing, and he enjoyed singing way more than he enjoyed playing bass.
Yeah, I was assume so.
Yeah, and they got a couple friends to join them, and they started a band. The grandpa would come down from Vancouver all the time, and he would play for the live shows. But at the moment in time, they're playing live shows like once a month.
Yeah.
And then they were told they need to hire their own sound guy, and sound is something you can teach. So get someone they like.
Yeah.
So they asked a couple of friends they're in school grade with, and they all said no. And they asked me, and I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, that sounds pretty cool." So I wasn't first tier pick, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so I went in and I started to learn it, and I spent a week, maybe 2 weeks, in Vancouver at the grandpa's house learning a bunch of the technical stuff, so I could like just a quick schooling, so I could get somewhat close to their level.
Yeah.
Because before, like on day one, I didn't know what anything was, right?
Of
Like
course.
anyone.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, pass me an XLR cable." I'm like, "Cool.
What the hell is
Which one is
that?
that?" Right? Super basic stuff.
Yeah.
And um,
I don't even know what that is.
that's the one for the microphone
Good to know.
with the three little thingies on it.
That's cute. Okay, continue.
Yeah. So, so he would, I needed basic schooling just to be able to, just for that. And so I went over to to the grandpa's house, and um, stayed there for a while. And then I came back, and I was considerably more knowledgeable. And I learned how to set it all up and how to take it all down and all these things. And um, I'm kind of like a geek, right? So I
Right.
needed to know more. I needed to know it inside and out, and I needed to know why this happens, right?
Right.
And so I constantly was getting better at it.
Right.
And we played on the island for all together for like a year. When I think we played like once every 2 or 3 weeks.
Yep.
So we'd pack up and we'd go to a bar, and I was the only one of age. So between sets, everyone in the band either had to go outside or they had to go into the kitchen.
That's funny.
Yeah, so I was the only one of age, and we would set up on like Friday, and then and we would play, and then we would leave, and then on Saturday we would come back and we would play again, and then we'd tear everything down.
Hmm.
And because no one drank, we all got a food tab instead of a drink tab because everyone was underage.
Yeah.
And then and then we started slowly moving up to like once a week.
Mm-hmm.
And then after a little bit of once a week, we were kind of stuck, right? And it's like, this is literally as far as Vancouver Island is going to take us.
Mm-hmm.
So we moved from Vancouver Island over to Vancouver, but then Tanner, the bass player singer, didn't think that we had really a chance in there in Vancouver.
Yeah. Is that why you
So
took off? Well, other
yeah,
than
so
his lady friend?
yeah, and he also had a lady friend influence.
Yeah.
So he stayed behind, and they had to relearn how to do a three piece. So the one guitar player who was named Dylan he was the other guitar player at the time,
Yeah.
and he learned how to do bass, and then him and the drummer Callum both started to learn how to sing, because Callum was already the main backup singer.
Yep.
He learned a lot faster, and he very quickly became frontman, even though he was a drummer.
Yeah. He would sing it. He would sing like a full song while still playing the drums.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what we did was we pushed Cam and Dylan farther apart from each other, and we brought the drum riser, or the drum set and the riser and everything, more forward.
Yeah.
And so it was weird. We had a front and center drum set. So, so it was a little odd,
Yeah.
but he sang, right? It almost felt necessary.
Yeah.
And we played for a little bit like that, and we tried to hire in like another person, which never really went too well.
Yeah, I actually remember that guy.
Well, there was a couple. That guy lasted the longest.
Okay.
And um and they just never worked out too well. And then um because we moved over to Vancouver and they had to relearn how to be a band like as a three piece,
Yeah.
it was pretty much like starting from nothing again. We had to do if we did like once a month shows and they had to start from and all the first shows had to be free and everything.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of time off. So I decided that when I moved over to Vancouver, I was gonna do recording and live sound and record producer schooling.
Yeah.
So I went to one school and I was there for I don't know how long, 6 or 7 months,
Uh-huh.
and then that school went bankrupt.
Really?
Yeah, it did. The guy who someone bought it out and it changed ownership, but they did literally change nothing about the school.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what happened to that guy. That guy got into some serious not good stuff.
Okay.
I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was gambling. I don't know if he broke the law. I don't know if he had a big mafia debt or whatever.
Yeah, well, he did
But
something.
he did something, and everything he owned got repossessed, which at the time included a school.
So they shut it down?
So they shut it down, and we had like 2 days notice.
Wow. Were you living at the school in a dorm or?
No, it wasn't one of those. It wasn't a big school like that.
Yeah.
And then so because we had so if you had student loans, you had tuition insurance, and if you paid out of pocket, then you didn't, right?
Oh.
So they would so they because I think it was a year-long course,
Mm-hmm.
and anyone who was 8 months and farther had the option of taking an early graduation.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I was like 7 months in, so I didn't have the option of taking an early graduation.
Would you though if you were able to?
I don't think I would have if I
Yeah,
was able.
I don't well, and if you did, I don't think it would be that smart. You wouldn't be that educated like you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so.
So, and so their option was take the early education. Oh, and because it was 12 months long as well, the tuition that you would have paid got divided into 12. So every month that you completed was gone.
Oh,
So some people were getting 2 or 3 months worth of tuition back, as well as an early graduation.
yeah. Oh, did you never get any of your tuition back?
No, because I was on student loans.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So your option was to take the early grad and have to pay the full student loans,
Lame.
or you because student loans has tuition insurance. So if something happens and you can't continue school and it's outside of your fault, like you didn't fail, you didn't and or you didn't drop out or anything, then they had to transfer you to another school to finish.
Okay.
So the best school there was in Vancouver for that was called Nimbus. So I
Oh,
waited. I waited. I don't know, like how long, like three
can I just
weeks,
stop
maybe.
you for a second? That is fucking awesome, by the
It
way.
it was. It was so lucky.
Nimbus, that's wicked cool.
Yeah, because the first one it wasn't very high up,
Dude,
but they
fucking Dragon Ball shit. That's awesome.
because the first school I went to wasn't very high up, but it was the one I could afford.
Okay, yeah.
Because Nimbus was like 3 times more expensive
Yeah.
than the one I went to, and that was the one I wanted to go to.
Yeah.
And so I went to like a third or fourth rate recording school.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so I waited there for like 3 months waiting to see if Nimbus became an option, and it did. And I was like, I want that one.
Nice.
Because they kept calling me and be like, oh, like here are some options where you can go to. I'm like, yeah, that's just some options. And then I ended up not doing it, right?
Right.
And because I was like, I'm holding out for this one. And I didn't want him to let him know I'm holding out for that one. And then
Yeah.
it eventually came up as an option, and I was like, all right, that's the one I want. I definitely want that one. And then they're like, oh, how intelligent do you feel about this and that and this and that, and I really played it down, right? And it's like I don't feel like I know too much. Like we learned I learned some of this and some of that, and I really just lied so I could get more time there.
Yeah.
And they put me in with the month 2 students. So like the first like 3 or 4 months at that school was very boring for me
Yeah. Well,
because that was another year-long program. They
yeah.
were very
Well, you were
boring for
probably
me because
killing it, weren't you?
yeah, but yeah, like again, they were very boring for me because it was stuff I literally covered not too long ago.
Yeah.
And then after that, then I would actually start learning some new stuff.
Which must have been awesome.
It was very good, very awesome, and the classrooms were actually studios. So the school had like 4 studios in it, so there was 4 classes going on at a time.
Nice.
So you would do class in a studio, which was great. So you got very comfortable around all the gear and everything first. Or the other one had 2 studios, so a lot of the classes were there was a class in each studio, and then there was like 2 classes just in at little computer cubicles.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, so right, because well, you just I don't know. I think they mostly didn't have the room.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Like you're talking about at the shitty school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the new one, everything was a studio.
That's awesome.
And then there was like a little computer lab where you would go to. They did taught uh, they taught how to do MIDI in there because MIDI literally requires a little keyboard that plugs into the computer and a pair of headphones, and that's it.
Did you
So
ever?
they
Oh,
taught MIDI
sorry.
in there, and then outside of that, they taught, or that was the place where you could catch up on like, oh man, I really need to do some editing, or I really need to do this, right? Something where you don't need the big studio,
Yeah.
and that's where we would do that, and that was just outside of school time, like, right? You just kind of did it on your own,
Yeah.
so they had a place for it. And I don't know, it was just a really cool experience. And I came out at the end as like the guru, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
I know because very quickly the band started, and while I was at school, very quickly the band started doing once a week shows again. And by the end, they were doing, we were playing 3 times a week.
Yeah. Oh, did you ever get to a point where you would do like every night?
Yeah, but in school, right?
Yeah.
'Cause we would have during the evening, because the school was open from 9 till 9, 9
Yeah.
in the morning till 9 at night, and then after that, from 9 at night till 9 in the morning, the studios were open for the students. So um, we would book studio time in chunks,
Yeah.
and we would record. We do our own side project things, or we would try and do a like a for free album
Yeah.
and all these things.
Oh,
And
did you take advantage of that with the band?
I tried, but it was very busy,
Oh, okay.
right? And a lot of the times I got were weekend times, which obviously wouldn't work out.
Yeah.
But I did use them for a project. We had a cover project where where you got assigned a decade, and you had to write, and you had to choose one of that decade's top 40 songs, and you needed to cover it. And it didn't matter if you covered it perfectly. It doesn't matter if you completely rewrote it. Didn't matter, right?
Yeah. Did you have to like redo the sound for it?
Yeah, because you did it from scratch.
Yeah, you just kind of produce that. You basically produce a hit song like from scratch.
Yeah, you reproduced a hit song from nothing.
Holy shit!
So
how does that work? Do you get like the raw like the raw vocal audio and like the raw instruments type of deal?
no, you started with nothing. You had to have higher. You had to get. It had to be performed.
Yeah. So,
So
did you use the band?
yeah, so I used the band. I was one of the only people who used a band
Oh,
for that
okay.
because everyone else who was in the school had a little bit of music talent here, a little bit of music talent there. So they would play. They would try and play one of the parts.
Yeah. Oh, they would do it themselves. Try and do it themselves.
Yeah, we would try. They would try to do it as a class, and I was like, no, I'm getting a band. I'm getting a band.
Oh, that must have been perfect for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
So I had a band that was because we moved over to Vancouver and no one was hiring a metal cover band.
Yeah.
They switched to a top 40 cover band.
Yeah.
So I was very lucky. I got given the 80s as my decade.
That is hilarious,
Yeah.
dude. It just fell perfectly.
I chose the Bon Jovi "You Give Love a Bad Name."
Oh, dude, that's one of my favorite songs, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I brought them in, and they told them to bring their. I told them to bring chunks of their gear,
Yeah,
and
that's hilarious.
yeah, and they came in piece by piece, like one person at a time,
Yep.
and they did it.
Oh, really? So you kind of like, so you got to like work with each individual member and kind
Yeah,
of do their vocal parts, do their instrument parts.
yeah, because it was so much easier than getting them all in at once. And it's like, hey, are you free? And it's like, yeah, I am free. And it's like, awesome. Come on
Well,
down. Come on down.
well,
Right?
what's the more easier thing to do? Is it easier to have them record as a band together, or is it easier to kind of, or is it more effective to do individual recordings and then smashing it all together?
So you have to do both if you're actually really producing.
Yeah.
So on the first attempt, they all come in together,
Right.
and you mic everything like you would a big live show,
Yeah.
and then you put them all in the studio together, and just give them their metronome and tell them all to play the song, and they play it all together, and that's called live off the floor.
Okay.
That's what live off the floor is. The whole band's in at once. They're playing it right there,
Yep.
and then after that, then you bring in them piece by piece. So ideally you bring in the drummer, and he re-records the drums,
Okay.
and you just kind of get it flawless. Because before you leave everything in, whether they screw up or they don't, right?
Right.
You just get the live off the floor one. Maybe you do a couple takes of it so they're best working as a group, and then as a group they're all vibing off of each other, right?
Right.
So you get the vibe of the band, and then they come in and they re-record that part. So you isolate that part as best you can, and you leave everything else as kind of background, and then they replay their part.
Fascinating.
But that's when you get picky about the sounds, right? And you're like, oh, I think we should do this, and I think we should do that, and maybe we should put this in here, and then and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And you build them each their own little ISO booth, so they're isolated and as soundproof as they can be, and just a whole bunch of things.
That's really cool. That's actually a really cool process.
Yeah, and then you would do that, and then you would move on from that person to the bass player, and then you move from the bass player to the guitars, and you got to do guitars as long as it takes, right? Because it's like, oh, we're gonna double this part, and we're gonna triple this part, and this part's got to be like this, and maybe we'll switch to this amp for this part, and so on and so forth.
Right.
And one of the really cool things we would do is we would build like fake office cubbies, and we put a different in the studio, right?
Right.
And then we would put a different guitar amp in each office cubby, and then we would mic them all up. and then the guitar player would wire in through the wall, and he'd come back into the room with the board and everything, and he would sit on the couch.
Yeah.
And you would put it on the big speakers, and you would switch between the amps, or you record all of them at once and whatever, right? And you would choose like, oh, this amp sounds really good, and this amp sounds okay, and this amp sounds amazing for this part, and you would do it like that, and it was really cool. And so then you'd have all the amp heads in there with you, with the guitar player, so he would switch the sound for that amp right there where he was.
Wow.
And that's a really fun way to do it too.
Creative.
Yeah, it very.
Oh Jesus! You put amps in cubby.
Yeah, we'd build little fake cubbies, like out of the soundproof big pieces of foam that we would have.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'd build them fake little cubbies, and we'd do that. And it was a lot of fun. And then you start doing the vocals, right? After that.
Yeah.
And then after that, you add on the knick-knack. So if there's a clapping part, then you get people in. You don't even need the band for that part. Just you and a couple people in the studio just go in and you do the clap part, and you send in someone to do a tambourine part or whatever you need to do, right? Whatever your knickknacks are on top of that.
Yeah.
And like that's a lot of fun too. And then you would go, and then you would start editing, and editing was always a chore, a big chore.
Not for me.
Oh my God. When you have to go through every single sound, every single beat, and you gotta like, and you just be like, oh, we're gonna put these samples on this. Well, these samples don't sound too good, so we're gonna switch out these ones, and we're gonna switch out these ones, and these ones sound pretty natural, and blah 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 blah. And you gotta do that for each drum. You gotta do that for each cymbal. You gotta do that for each this.
Wow.
And then you would and then for the guitar part, which was looser, because you already nitpicked the sounds with the guitar player.
Yeah.
That was a lot easier to do, but you would also record one of that's just goes directly in. It didn't have a head, it didn't have an amp or anything. It just kind of sounded like someone was playing it on an acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
And then if you decided, I kind of want to try this amp, but we didn't have it at the time, or we didn't have access to it, and it's like, oh man, I think we should rent this amp and get it. You would rent it, and then you'd play his raw guitar part over into that amp.
Yeah.
And you could do that, and you could do that for each one, like, so if the part was doubled, or if the part was this, or if the part was that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You would do it again that way. And it's just interesting because you literally have it feels like you literally have all the time in the world, because at the same time I was doing live 3 days a week.
Oh, okay.
And live was like, you set up the thing, make it sound as good as possible, and in the shortest amount of time you possibly have. And a lot of bars were just like, don't make unnecessary noise.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, I can't do a sound check then. And if you took the whole first song to get it perfect, then you took too long.
Jesus.
So compared to working in the studio, it was so relaxing.
Oh yeah, I bet, man. Well, we just hit our hour mark.
We did.
We did. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's really interesting stuff, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so actually, just one final question before we end it off here. Did you ever have to work with someone who was pretty unprofessional, like a musician who was pretty unprofessional, and then just gave you a complete nightmare?
No, I did work with unprofessional people, but none that were a nightmare.
Yeah, like maybe like kind of lack talent, or
They were just so. I also tried doing some live with some other bands as well.
Oh, really? You never told me about this.
Yeah, I did. I tried to do some live with some other bands, and there was this one. They were Sonic something or something Sonic, right?
Yeah.
And they wanted me for a live show, so they rented some gear. I think it was one of their only live shows.
Okay.
So they rented some gear, which was like super basic, straightforward gear. They had no idea how to set any of it up.
Yeah.
And like the bass player would help, no one else would really help, and like they didn't know what anything was. Like I was actually amazed they were musicians, because they all had mics set up, and they all had like their own instruments, and even the drummer had a drum pad with them.
Yeah.
And he literally handed me a guitar. One guy handed me a guitar cable and says, "Which end goes into my guitar?" And I tried to so I sat there and I was trying to explain to him that it didn't matter and how two-way works, and he's just like, "What?" And he's like, "What?" And I just pointed to one of his hands. That end. I just gave up, and I was like, "That end."
I
that
even
end
know
goes to
that.
the
Oh my
guitar."
god.
It was so funny, and it was like at the same time, it was just like, "Oh my god, I don't even know how you practice this at home."
If you just like, right, okay, this one, and then I think this one goes here, turns it on. Okay, I guess I did it right this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I did it right. So it was just like, because he just said that, and I kind of looked at him and was like, "Are you testing me? Are you joking with me right now? You have one of those Do you have one of those guitar cables at home that totally doesn't matter and they actually have arrows on each end? So one arrow points away from it, one arrow points towards it. Because I've seen those and it's like, this doesn't matter, right? Like this 100% does not matter.
And well, here I actually have one right here. See, identical. See, and then
They're perfectly identical and it's two-way. It doesn't matter what end you plug into what. It's still going to work perfectly both ways unless your cable's imperfect in general.
Okay, see, ladies and gentlemen, look at this. He mistaked these two things right here in asking which one goes into which. They're identical. They go with...
Yeah, they're perfectly identical.
Yeah, I have it right here in my hand, so...
Yeah, and you can get some of them that have arrows on them. And I don't know why.
I'm very happy this does not have arrows on it.
With them. But yeah, he handed me the cable, and he's like, he had one end in each hand. He goes, "Which one goes into my guitar?"
Was he was he like a half decent guitar player too?
He was pretty good.
What the fuck?
I know, it was really bad. And I was like, how do you practice? I didn't say it, right? It all came through in my head, like, how do you, and like the only thing it is like, okay, so it's two-way, so the signal flows in both directions equally, so it doesn't matter which end. He's like, what? And I was like, that end.
Okay, James, thank you for being on my podcast, man. Appreciate it.
No problem.
All right, man. All right, we're gonna wrap up here. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, James, for once again coming on, even though I just thanked him. And this has been the Gamers Podcast, episode 18. Thank you very much, man. All right, I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm gonna.
Bye.
Okay, last thing before I go. I'm gonna upload these on Sunday. These are gonna be Sunday thing. Okay. This is going up on Tuesday, but it's gonna be a Sunday thing from now on.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. Okay.
Perfect.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.